Olá, boa noite. O Exou Biribó, hoje com o vídeo 7 de Broken Sword 5, A Maldição da Serpente. Ontem passamos o tempo todo na casa do Marques, na Catalunha. Nico e George decifraram o quadro como sendo um mapa, que unido aos demais elementos da casa, revelava que a Tábula Veritatis estaria em Montserrat. Não em Santos, mas lá na Espanha. Foram surpreendidos pelo falso Langham, que na verdade nem é da Interpol e nem capanga do Medovsky. Ele age por conta própria para liberar o poder de Lúcifer sobre a Terra, anulando Jeová. Ele é neto de Genin, aquele que no começo do jogo apareceu com as forças fascistas para roubar o quadro na casa do Marx, do pai do Marx. E depois de um tempo desapareceu enquanto pesquisava para onde o quebra-cabeças do quadro apontaria. O Genin, o novo, o neto, leva o Marx como refém, achando que ele saberia a localização exata da tábula, e vão para Montserrat, né? Nico e George vão segui-lo e levam com eles, porque não aceitaria deixar de ir, a Eva, filha do Marx. É daí que retomamos a aventura. Ele disse que iam ter que se fazer de turistas idiotas. A Nicole disse que esse é o papel perfeito para ele.
Hi there, buddy. Sorry, we got a virus loose. Whole place is locked down. Howdy. Is this the way up to the monastery?
Yeah, but it's shut. No one allowed in. The monks they're on strike.
Wow, what happened? Someone make 'em work ungodly hours?
Nah, I don't think that was the problem.
And I guess the virus can't have helped. You know, back in Austin, we have very different attitudes to public health.
So go home and stop bothering me.
Howdy, fella.
Sorry, pal. Monastery's closed. Till further notice.
Oh, gee, well, ain't that just my luck?
Yeah, ain't it?
And my two pretty sisters here are so looking forward to seeing the monastery.
Life's full of disappointments.
Sure seems that way. And the monastery's definitely up there, huh?
It is. But it'll still be there tomorrow.
Oh, we fly back to Austin tonight.
Well, isn't that a shame?
So why's the place closed?
VIP visitors.
Wow, that's exciting. Which VIPs?
A foreign prince.
The Prince of where?
Yeah, that's the one.
Wow!
So we can't let normal folk in.
Oh, of course not. No, not if the Prince of where is there. Did you tell the prince about the virus?
What?
Your buddy said there was a virus. Did you warn the prince?
Well, there's no need. He's, immune.
Oh, of course. Stupid me. Everybody knows that.
Time for you to go, pal.
I guess it is. You have a nice day now.
And you.
Nice lamppost. Looking at that fence, I'd guess they had dog issues around here. It was a magnificent building. I wondered if the tabula was really hidden up there. We're moving away from the monastery.
Yes, but with those goons in the way, we have to find a different approach.
Maybe there's some other way around, via the cable car station?
Or at least someone in the can tell us what's going on. Someone's coming out. Quick, we need to hide. I think it's Lagon.
Block everything off. Lock the whole place down, understand? The tabula's got to be up in the monastery, I'm sure of it. Come on.
Yes, boss.
Close all the routes up to the monastery, and then make the old man talk.
Yes, boss.
This time, don't be so gentle with him.
Did you hear that? They haven't found it yet, but Senor Marquez must be in a bad way.
Listen, I have to follow those bastardos. I might be able to slip through on my own.
Sure. We'll see if we can find another way up. You think she'll be okay?
Eva can handle herself.
It was locked. There was a keypad, but I didn't know the code.
Não deixaram o código embaixo do tapete ali. Como é que ele vai descobrir?
The building looked very new. It must have been modernized recently. Glass canopies sparkled in the sun. Would have been a pain to clean those. Where do you think we should go?
I think we might get some answers inside the cable car station.
But the door's locked.
Then we'd better find a way to unlock it.
A thick cable suspended the cable cars over the canyon. The cable car hung midway across the valley. It wasn't moving. My God! Nico!
What is it?
This telescope! It's free!
É estranho mesmo. Para mover o telescópio, selecione qualquer ponto da zona negra e arraste a imagem na direção desejada. Podes interactuar com pontos de interação dentro do entorno enquanto elas se revelam.
There were a couple of people stuck in the cable car. They looked kind of familiar. Then I realized it was my old friends Dwayne and Pearl Henderson. The Hendersons had an uncanny way of showing up wherever I went. They didn't know I'd seen them. I needed to give them a signal.
Devolveu o sinal, o espelho retrovisor de novo.
I signaled them back. I wasn't sure they'd seen it. Pearl was mouthing something and gesturing. Pearl seemed to be writing something on the window.
Socorro.
It said, "Help, stuck. Door code 0797. I wondered how Pearl came to know that.
Como que ela
I
sabe?
idly wondered whether there was more to find by looking at the scenery.
Como que ela sabe o código da porta da estação de teleférico? Não, né? Achar mais alguma coisa na imagem.
It was the other station for the cable cars. Wait, what's that? That rock looks familiar. Nico, take a look at this and tell me what you see.
You're right. That rock looks like a head.
I've seen that shape before. Take a look at this. The face in the Ouroboros, it's exactly the same shape as that rock.
That can't be a coincidence.
And you know what? Langham's got the forged picture, the one without the face.
So the rock won't have meant anything to him.
Nico, I don't think the tabula's up at the monastery. I think it's down there somewhere, around that rock.
Tem que dar jeito
Come
de
on,
chegar
Nico.
lá.
Pearl's giving me the code to the door.
What? Pearl? Who? How?
Trust me, Nico. I've got friends in low-hanging places. Huh. There's no one here.
Looks like everything has been shut down.
Help!
There was a metal box on the floor. A metal lunchbox. Someone sure wanted to keep their cheese safe.
Hey, is anybody there?
Whoa! Did you hear that?
We're stuck in here. Help!
How about that, Nico? A talking lunchbox. Huh. What will they think of next? I better take it with me. A talking lunchbox. Locked. With no key, I was going to have to find a way to break into it.
Tem nada para abrir.
The lock was too well made to be picked.
Yeah. Não deu.
The cable cars were scheduled to run all day. The wheels were part of the cable car mechanism. The control panel looked complicated. It wasn't powered up, and the smell of burnt electrical components hung ominously in the air.
É cheiro de coisa queimada aqui.
The cogs turned, but the rest of the mechanism didn't seem to be engaging.
Mas pelo menos eu já sei onde abrir a lancheira metálica.
The box was now wedged in the cogs, or rather, the giant can opener.
Só que vai arrebentar a lata e tudo que tem dentro.
That's quite a mess you've made there, George.
You know what they say about making omelets, Nico?
You can't make them without strawberry jam?
Meu carão tava na frente aqui, né? Então, tá aqui a lata.
Just as I thought, it's a two-way radio.
Can anyone hear me?
Dwayne, this is George. George Stobart.
Holy cow, George, just the fella I need. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Dwayne, and don't you worry, I'll have you out of there in a minute.
You reckon you can get the cable car running again?
No, the console isn't working properly. I've got no idea why not.
George, this is Pearl. Get Kat to help you. She knows everything about that place.
Cat?
The cable car operator. I'm sure she's there somewhere. Find her.
Encontre a Cat para te ajudar. Dwayne. Pearl. Cat já? Nós nem a encontramos. 3 personagens novos.
The box was mangled beyond repair.
Marmelada é geleia, né?
Strawberry jam was smeared all over the machinery.
Temos que ir ao armário abrir para Cat.
There was no lock, but the door wouldn't open.
Go away!
Hello?
George, there's someone in there.
Are you all right in there?
Just go away!
Ela pensa que são os bandidos ainda. Passa o telefone da Pel.
Cat, I found you a friendly voice.
How do you know my name?
Cat, dear, it's me, Pearl.
Pearl? How did you get here? That's not possible.
Listen, darling, it really is me, but I'm talking on the radio. George here is a very decent guy, and you should open the door.
I'm not going to fall for that. Prove it's you.
All right. Remember we discovered we both love musicals?
Yeah? And my favourite one is?
How does it go now? Help out. I am the very model of a modern major general.
Of information, vegetable, animal, and mineral.
I know the kings of England, and I quote the fights historical.
From Marathon to Waterloo in order categorical. I'm very good in integral and differential calculus.
I know the scientific names of beings and homunculus.
In short, in matters, vegetable, animal, and mineral.
I am the very model of a modern major general.
All right, only Pearl would know that, and I trust her. Who are you?
I'm George, and this is Nico. How did you end up in a closet?
There were some guys with guns. They took over the whole station. I hid in here.
We're trying to avoid them too.
I was quite surprised, you know. They never mentioned guns at the job interview.
Really? We need to use the cable car. Can you operate it?
Yeah, if the console was working, but they sabotaged it.
And there's no way to get it started?
There might be. Let me see.
Ela se trancou no armário.
See that burned out fuse down there?
In the back by the prongs?
Yeah. The idiots stuck a spanner in there and blew the fuse. They wanted to make sure no one could use the cable cars. Connect those 2 prongs somehow, and the console should restart.
How on earth are we going to reach that?
I don't know. But don't stick your arm in there. You'll get fried.
Tem que juntar os polos naquele fusível estourado lá nos fundos. Sem pôr a mão aqui.
I needed to electrically connect the 2 prongs to hotwire the console.
Fazer uma ligação direta, um fio metálico aqui. Um prego, um parafuso. Um clips.
The paperclip would do the trick connecting the 2 prongs. But I didn't want to just throw it in there. I might miss.
Não dá para colocar lá. Se colocar o bração, morre eletrocutado.
Trevor could help, but I couldn't just throw him in there. I set him down at the edge where it was safe.
Trevor tá lá esperando alguma coisa.
I realized if Trevor could carry the paperclip, then he could hotwire the prongs. But the clip would fall off his back before he got there.
Tem que colar o clipe nas costas do Trevor.
Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Não é com a lã. Com a geleia. A única outra coisa que tem.
Well, I'd done stranger things in my life. The paperclip was now all sticky. I stuck the paperclip onto Trevor's back. He was now fully equipped.
Good boy, Trevor.
Bem feito, mas ele não veio. Claro.
Go,
Vai lá,
Trevor,
Trevor.
go!
Poor Trevor looked like he needed therapy, but the console was working.
Baratas são indestrutíveis.
The console, it's working.
Cool. I can send you down there if you want. Let me just bring the cable car up here.
Pearl and Dwayne are going to be mighty relieved.
Oh, they must have been going down in the other cable car.
Come on, Nico. There's no time to lose. As we got closer to the face in the rock, I knew for sure that we were on the right track. It was definitely the same as the face in the painting, but with one difference. The symbol of the tabula was missing from the rock formation. Well, here we are.
But no way to reach the face.
Yeah.
Let's have a look around. There must be a way up. George, the chapel looks like it's been built right into the rock.
You're right. We should take a look inside.
I wonder, how old do you think the chapel is?
I'm guessing the exterior's a couple of 100 years old, but the inside? Who knows? Some parts could be much older.
You think somehow this chapel might be connected to the face in the rock?
At a guess, I would say so. Hey, look! It's Pearl and Dwayne.
Come on, honey bun. Things ain't that bad.
You just don't understand. Today's been a disaster.
But
The monastery was closed. We got stuck in the cable car. And now this place is a building site.
aw, sweetie pie.
This was supposed to be the spiritual highlight of our trip, Dwayne. But the only spirit I see is that rotten turpentine over there.
Aw, heck.
Clearly, the Hendersons weren't having a great vacation. Great to see you again, Mr. Henderson.
Great to see you too, George. Great work back there with the cable car.
Is Pearl okay?
I wish. I'm afraid we're having one of those days where everything goes wrong.
Tell me about it. What have you been up to since we last met in Quaramonte?
Well, There was that little sideshow in Rome, but we can't talk about that. You know why, George.
I do? I do.
Why?
Top secret.
Need to know, Nico. Dwayne is, snoozer.
Don't you mean a sleeper?
No way, honey. A snoozer's at least 2 pay grades up from a sleeper. So I hear. Anyway, I don't believe I've had the pleasure, Miss,
Nicole Collar. Call me Nico.
Well, how's about that? So this is the beautiful Nico. No wonder you've been hiding her away from me, Georgie boy.
Gosh, no,
It's lovely to finally meet you too, Mr. Henderson. George has told me so much about you.
Oh, call me Dwayne, my dear. And let me assure you of one thing. Everything you've heard is quite possibly true.
Dwayne was loud, large, and short-sighted, but boy was he a charmer. Is there anything we can do for Pearl?
I sure as hell hope so, George. She's been planning and researching this trip for years, our little pilgrimage. And Santa Cova Chapel here was the cherry on the cake. Not a thing she don't know about this place. Madonna, blah, blah, blah. Chapel built in, yada, yada, yada. She's Santa Cova's very own walking encyclopedia. Well, weeping encyclopedia, I should say.
So what brings you to Santa Cova?
Pearl's idea from the get-go. Ever since the unfortunate car accident back home, she's been scouring those pilgrimage brochures. Gotta be full of wonder and life-changing imagery. Got to have penance potential. Got to offer a real spiritual experience.
Well, I'm sure this place will be very spiritual once it's finished.
If the chapel is not what she expected, how about the monastery?
Hot dog, no. That place is for tourists, not pilgrims.
You said she expected a spiritual experience?
Well, that's what the brochure promised. Pilgrimages, little monk fellas, singing, shafts of light, the whole shebang.
Smells, bells, and heavenly lights.
Yeah, that's what the lady wanted. Oh, excuse me. Pearl needs me. There, dear.
Pearl could be a mine of information about the chapel if we could just cheer her up. Pearl.
Shh, she doesn't want to be disturbed.
Hi, Dwayne.
Hey, George.
How you holding up?
Me? Oh, I'm fine. Pearl, on the other hand.
How's Pearl doing?
She's pretty upset, George.
Well, maybe she just needs a hug.
Is that the best you got? The last time she was in a mood like this, I tried the old hug routine.
Didn't go well?
I still have the scars, not just the mental ones.
What can you tell me about Santa Cova?
Well, Pearl's the expert, not me. She knows everything there is to know about this chapel.
É ela que vai poder me dizer onde é que está o Urubó.
Did you see the Black Madonna?
Oh, you betcha. She's the little lady we came to see, though Pearl's in too much of a state to even look at her.
Hey, that tune you were whistling earlier, it sounded familiar.
Oh, it's Schubert's Ave Maria. In our courting days, me and Pearl used to hang out with the Campanology Society. It was Pearl's favorite.
I thought maybe a squirt of Brett might cheer her up.
Very considerate of you, George, but Pearl prefers a flowery scent.
Do you think these flowers might cheer Pearl up?
That's a lovely thought, George. But she's allergic.
Não, não deu.
Good thing we had the radio.
In my line of work, I'm always prepared.
For what?
Well, thieves. I gotta protect my lunchbox somehow, George.
É, vai ficar muito contente com a sua lancheira.
Nico, what would I do without her? Nico? So what did you mean by smells, bells, and heavenly lights?
I'm talking about the authentic church experience.
Oh, I see. Smells, bells, and heavenly lights.
Cheiros, sinos e luzes.
Any idea how old the chapel is?
That's what I asked you.
So we basically don't know anything.
That's the long and short of it, George.
Poor Pearl.
She's in quite a state. If we're going to find the tabula, her knowledge is key.
So, all our hopes are pinned on an American tourist.
I pin my hopes on an American tourist all the time.
É isso.
Got any ideas for smells?
Have you found any incense? Church smells don't get much more authentic than incense.
Caixa de ferramentas.
It was a selection of tools.
Era um jogo de ferramentas, agora faltando martelo.
It was a spectacularly unremarkable traffic cone.
Andaime.
The scaffolding was a little loose. Everything rattled. It made a surprisingly dulcet noise.
Ruídos melodiosos.
It produced a dull sound when I rapped my knuckle against it. It produced a dull sound. It produced a dull sound.
Ai, vai ter que tirar um som daí. Cepilhos, madeira serrada.
My mother always said cleanliness is next to godliness.
Resto de madeira.
It was a handful of aromatic sandalwood shavings.
Sândalo. Dá pra tentar um incenso aqui.
I sprayed the shavings with Brett. Delightful. Potpourri, handmade, Grandma's favorite.
Tá, então cheirinho de incenso eu já tenho. A música vai ser essa que toda hora ele tá assobiando, então.
It was a stone carving showing a kneeling figure. It was an old crank handle. There was a recess in the wall with a Latin word carved above it. Puritas, purity. I'd seen that word before somewhere.
Sim, no quadro, né?
The wall here was made of bare rock. It looked like the chapel had been built right into it. A statue of the Madonna and Child watched over the chapel. An empty, coffee-stained mug had been left by the altar.
E ele não pega. Será que é aí para pôr o incenso? É.
I put the scented shavings in the mug. I lit the scented shavings. A sweet aroma started to fill the room.
Então agora falta o som e a luz. A luz é aqui. Candelabro.
I'd lowered the candelabra. I often wondered what these things looked like close up. I lit the candles on the candelabra. A modern plaster altar had been built against the rock.
Altar de gesso aqui. Mas tem que dar climinha, fazer efeito especial no candelabro.
I rested the side mirror precariously on the candelabra.
De forma precária, ele vai cair. Agora lá.
I secured the mirror in place with some yarn.
Ok. Agora vai dar reflexo com efeito especial.
Now that was something. The light from the candelabra spilled over the Black Madonna like waves of spiritual goodness in candle form.
Agora o som. A subir aí de novo. É Ave Maria de Schubert.
Hi, Dwayne.
Hey, George.
What were you whistling again?
Oh, it's Schubert's Ave Maria.
Ave Maria. E vai ter que fazer isso com... Ó lá. Com 6 notas, maestro.
The hammer produced a promising sound. A.
What are you up to?
Look, I made a Churchenspiel. That sounded like an A. That didn't sound right.
Esse tá errado, esse tá aí só para atrapalhar. Enquanto ele faz, o martelinho fica aqui em cima à disposição.
Wrong.
No cone também não.
B, if I wasn't mistaken.
No extintor, sim.
G. A. A.
Eu tenho 2 Lás.
B.
Tá faltando uma nota.
Well, that was fun.
Aguarrás.
I poured the turpentine into the paint can.
Agora mais cheio deve dar a nota que falta.
The hammer produced a promising sound.
Não, mas ele não disse qual é a nota.
An F sharp.
Fá agudo. Tá. T, não, T. Vou tentar.
G, F sharp, G, B, A, G. I had it. It was the tune Dwayne was humming.
George, that's Ave Maria. Let me have a go.
Wow, you really nailed that, Nico.
Yep, this mop really is pretty special. Leave this to me.
Pumpkin? Oh my!
What?
The sound of angels, the lights of heaven, the smell of piety, and
Yes?
the Madonna, I do believe. Tears. She's crying, Dwayne! The Madonna's crying. Little Timmy. Wrong side of the road. Not my fault. The broken leg. Compensation claim. Forgive me, poor Timmy.
Oh, Pearl, my precious. You're such a sensitive soul.
Well, now that's done. I feel my soul's floating on air. We can get on with our pilgrimage, Dwayne.
Just another 1,000 clicks to go.
Pearl was back to her usual cheery self. Mrs. Henderson,
George, dear boy.
how you feeling?
Oh, just fine, thank you. I have just seen a miracle, George. It's all gonna be all right from now.
I'm sure it is, Mrs. Henderson. I'm sure it is. So, Pearl, what have you been up to since we last met?
Well, George, I've been on a journey.
Oh, really? Well, what kind of journey?
A spiritual one. A journey along the road to enlightenment.
Wow. And is that what brought you here?
It is. Though Santa Cova is but one step on that road.
What's so special about Santa Cova?
It's an ancient and very holy place. I've spent the last year researching it, and I can truly say there is nothing I do not know about it.
I don't suppose you'd know anything about that rock out there?
No, only that for 1,000 years, people have claimed to see a face in its shapes.
Still, keeping busy, Dwayne?
Like the man said, George, that old kaleidoscope keeps getting shaken, and the pieces are ever in flux.
Guess it's your job to pick 'em up, huh?
Well, somebody has to do it, compadre.
I enjoyed talking to Dwayne, but I was rarely any the wiser afterwards. What can you tell me about the statue?
I read that the Black Madonna has been here since the 9th century. She's called the Virgin of Montserrat. Some say the original was moved to the cathedral. But Dwayne and I know that's just a bluff, don't we, honey?
We sure do. This one is the real McCoy.
What can you tell me about Santa Cova?
Well, dear, they call it the Chapel of the Holy Grotto. It was built directly into the mountain itself in 1696. It survived the Napoleonic Wars, mudslides, Civil War. But the chapel is still standing today. It's a miracle.
Or a restoration.
What was that, dear?
Yes, a miracle. Hey, Pearl, take a sniff of this.
Takes me back to Dwayne in his frat house days.
Hey, have a look at this.
Don't you bring that thing anywheres near me, honey.
His name is Trevor.
You gave that a name?
He's a loyal and useful companion.
So is Dwayne, but I don't keep him in a box, George.
Well, there was that one time, honey.
Not now, Dwayne.
De Luca.
So, this ball of yarn, what do you think?
I think you're a lucky man to have it, George. Keep it.
What do you think of these flowers, Dwayne?
Oh, you keep 'em, George. They're God's gift to the undercover operative. Back in Iraq 1, a bunch of flowers kept me alive for a week.
Take a look at these papers.
That document has the Vatican seal on it. Oh, you better keep it safe, honey. I bet there's some people who would love to get their hands on it.
Oh, you have no idea. What do you make of this?
It looks like an Ouroboros.
Oh, you recognize it? Let me show you something else. Can you tell me anything about this painting?
Oh, nothing, dear. Apart from the obvious Gnostic connotations, of course.
What?
You know, the Dominicans. All those Gnostic saints. Doubting Thomas, Judas, and you see the woman in the red cloak? The infamous Mary Magdalene herself.
A lady in red.
That's enough now, Dwayne. You know my feelings about her.
Pearl knew her Gnostic onions, all right.
Then there's the Ouroboros, of course.
Something special about it?
Well, if I remember rightly, there was an Ouroboros right here in this chapel. Back in the 30s and 40s, the chapel was renovated. The workmen uncovered numerous symbols carved in the rock. Amongst them was a fine Ouroboros.
But that's amazing. So, where is it?
Oh, it's not there now.
Oh.
It was considered blasphemous, so they plastered over it. Sweetheart, I think it's time for us to go. The road to enlightenment waits for no woman.
'Tis the pilgrim's lot, George.
It was so nice to see you again. And meet your girlfriend.
We're not...
Take this radio, Nico. Never know when you might need it. Keep an eye on our boy George here.
Poor little lost lamb.
I'm not...
Don't worry, this little lamb's in safe hands. Bon voyage.
Bye-bye, dears.
See ya. Nico, don't even start.
Little lamb?
Let's focus on the task in hand, shall we? Okay, this Ouroboros that Pearl mentioned.
You're right. We need to find it.
Vamos encontrá-lo, ovelhinha.
The Black Madonna was clearly the focal point of the chapel.
Mais alguma coisa para pegar aqui? Pureza com fogo, dizia o quadro, não dizia? Ou algo assim, com chama. Não estava aceso?
I thought I'd heard a faint click. I couldn't see anything unusual about it.
Ele ouviu um clique e acendeu um olho aqui no altar, o altar de gesso, né, que ele já tinha examinado antes. Vamos destruir monumento histórico.
I hoped this was the right thing to do. Hey, Nico, I found the Ouroboros.
So what now?
Pearl was right. The plaster had covered an Ouroboros.
Puxa, pega.
I knew it. Another secret passageway.
Amazing, George. How did you do it?
Just another case of the old Stobart magic, I guess, Nico. It looks a little dark in there.
Are you scared, George?
Of course not. Just worried about you tripping, that's all.
Uma curta e muito escura escalada mais tarde.
Whoa, this is one dark cave.
It's the door that worries me, George.
Well, I'm sure the door will open again if we give it a minute. No need to panic.
Minuto depois, mais ou menos.
Now we panic. Help! I gotta say, Nico, you're pretty calm about this.
Traveling with you, George, I've got used to this kind of thing. If I panicked every time a door shut behind us, probably forever, well...
You're right. What was I thinking? You see if you can get the door open, and I'll go check out the dark, evil-smelling cave. Fumbling around in the dark wasn't going to be fun. But heck, I'd spent a lifetime doing it, so what was new?
Acendeu fósforo.
I didn't want to use my last match until I absolutely needed to.
Só sobrou palito.
The wall felt like it had something carved into it.
Tem uma cruz aqui. Uma coisa alta.
The thing had branches like a tree.
Pedra suave.
It felt cold and smooth, like worn stone.
Coisa grande.
It was cold to the touch and felt like carved rock.
Buraco pegajoso.
I could feel something smooth and spherical with clumps of what felt like fur or hair.
Pelo? Tá botando a mão num bicho? Coisa de pedra.
It felt cold and smooth, with some indentations along the surface.
E com moscas. Objeto de pedra.
It was stone, with a recess in it and, an oily liquid in it. There was some kind of thin twine in the middle of it, too.
Óleo e pavio. Aqui então dá para acender. Objeto de pedra.
Hey, Nico, I think I found some light. Whoa!
It must be Genan. Ramon said he disappeared while searching the mountains for the tabula.
So this is where he ended up. Dead in a cave. Hole in the head dead. Decomposing for decades dead. And on closer inspection, I'd even say blown your own brains out dead.
Okay, George, I get the point. What is this place?
Who knows? But look at the Gnostic symbols.
You're right. The colors, the trees. But who is she?
It looks like the Virgin Mary, but I don't think it is.
What do you mean?
The red robes and that whole off-the-shoulder look? It must be Mary Magdalene, of course. Marquez told me that the Gnostics revered her. This place, it's some kind of Gnostic shrine.
There's got to be something to release that door. Maybe amongst these carvings.
But if it was that obvious, don't you think Ganon would have found it?
Então aquela coisa pegajosa com pelo que ele estava pondo o dedo dentro era o buraco de bala na cabeça do Ganon.
The carved figure had once been green. I wondered if it was a representation of Jehovah. Blue paint was peeling from the carved figure. I wondered if it was an image of Lucifer. A large carving of the Tabula Veritatis symbol. All the other figures in the scene seemed to be supplicating themselves to it. A group of figures looked up towards the tabula. They were all colored red. I'd seen something like it before. The pillar had been carved into the shape of a tree and painted green. I knew it represented the tree of life. There were ancient scratches on the plinth, as if someone had moved the statue. I'm sure that this is Mary Magdalene.
The red robes. It all makes sense. The Madonna would be wearing blue. So, who's the child?
Well, according to the Gnostic Gospels, when Mary kissed the lips of Jesus, she,
Oh, I see.
Yep,
So the Gnostics think that the suckling child is...
I guess so. The pillar had been sculpted into a tree and then painted blue. I knew it was supposed to be the tree of knowledge.
Pro azul e aqui pro verde. E a estátua move. Só que eu não sei ainda se ela tem que mover pro azul e pro verde.
The ornate lamp warranted a closer look. Ganon had certainly been busy before he blew his brains out. I wonder what he'd been up to. Nico!
What?
Is this what I think it is? It must be the Tabula Veritatis.
So Ganon did find it.
It's so small, so innocent looking. Why would Simeon call it evil? Why so many deaths for this?
And why go to such lengths to keep it hidden?
Unless it is as genuinely dangerous as Simeon claimed.
The question now is, what do we do with it?
Com a verdade na tumba. Prêmio.
Ex luce veritas. Out of light, truth. I'd seen the same words on the fresco at Castel de Sants. The photograph was of an ancient clay tablet. Ganon had written on it. Someone, presumably Ganon, had taken the time to translate the inscription. At a glance, the inscription seemed to relate to the exploits of someone called the Sun King. The symbol on the tablets looked similar to the ones etched into the face of the Tabula Veritatis.
Isso vai ser enigma complicado.
I prized the map out from under the arm of the corpse. It looked like Ganon had scrawled some kind of last testament onto this map. My friends, I know that you will eventually find me, but by then it will be too late. I have decoded the tabula, and I know our destiny lies in paradise. The key to the power of God is in our hands. I die secure in the knowledge that you will now be able to complete my work. Tell my family that I died doing my duty, that I surrender my life gladly to the cause. In the light of the day, these words will fade, like our souls. But rest assured that when they do, their echoes will guide us to where we will meet once again. I'm not sure, but it looks like crafty old Ganon left a secret message in his testament.
Sim, ele destacou A, B, C, D, E, como tinha naquela tradução que ele começou a fazer.
According to the translation, some guy called the Sun King once had the Tabula Veritatis in his possession.
Aqui, ó, ele marcou
The symbol
A,
on
B,
the
C,
tablets
D,
looked similar to the
E.
ones etched into the face of the Tabula Veritatis.
E naquela outra mensagem também. Será que tem que juntar as duas? Não, não dá para juntar.
When I held the map up to the flame, something started to change. The writing on the map started to react to the heat. Well, I'll be darned.
What is it?
At a guess, the locations on the map might match up with the ones he's marked on this photograph.
Ah, então era isso. Por isso que falava de sumir com a luz do dia, não sei o que. Com o calor, sumiu o resto da escrita e ficaram os pontos. E esses pontos têm ligação com a tradução dos símbolos da Tabula Veritatis. Tudo no mundo tem uma ligação. Agora, será que dá para juntar? Não. Vai ter que decifrar mesmo.
It was an old water canteen. The contents had long since been drunk. It was a fedora, just like the one in Ganon's trunk back at the Castel. The years hadn't been kind to it. I picked up the old gun. It was too corroded and rusty to ever be fired again. It had to be Ganon, in which case the body had been there for decades. There was a bullet hole in the side of his head. Just like us, he'd been trapped. He'd chosen suicide. The long-dead remains of a person slumped over the table with a bullet hole in his skull. The medallion fitted snugly into the socket. Whoa, would you take a look at that?
The light from the medallion is illuminating this blue figure.
This could be our ticket out of here.
If you're right, that explains why Ganon never got out of here. He didn't have the medallion.
Sim, mas dá para sair sem traduzir aquela coisa, ó. Vai lá mexer a estátua, então virar pro azul, pra árvore azul.
I gave the statue a push, and it turned anti-clockwise. I gave the statue another shove.
Agora ela está virada pro azul. Esse daqui é o azul, não é?
I knew it represented the Tree of Life. A large carving of the Tabula Veritatis symbol.
Não, ainda falta alguma coisa.
I guessed that finding the tabula was the easy part. Figuring out its purpose was a different proposition.
Ela tem os símbolos por aqui também.
A row of symbols were etched onto the top bar of the tabula. These symbols looked just like the ones on the photograph of the clay tablet. The tabula was engraved with a number of curious-looking symbols. These symbols looked just like the ones on the photograph of the clay tablet.
É, acho que é isso então. Isso aqui com
I wondered if Ganon's notes on the photograph might help me decode the tabula.
Os sinais na Tábula Veritatis se mostram na parte superior da tela. Selecione um símbolo e logo escolha o que crê que seja a tradução correta das palavras à direita. Há 36 palavras entre as quais escolher, entre 3 grupos de 12. O botão te permite mudar de grupo. Ganon conseguiu traduzir os sinais na tábua de argila, os quais repartem idioma com os grifos da Tábula Veritatis. Verá as traduções na parte inferior da tela. Mas não é uma correspondência exata, tem que ficar procurando o que parece mais. E aqui tem 3 grupos de 12 para mudar o significado também. Por hoje, paramos por aqui. O Exou Biribó, agradecendo a presença, o apoio, as dicas, a torcida, desejando boa noite, até amanhã. Por enquanto eu fui.